Alright, guys, I'm making this after some thought. It's about just compiling all of the lessons which I've learned over the past 3 years and a half. And it's a very important topic. I really want to just give you guys the most important fundamentals which made this happen. We finally made a brand. That was the initial goal. I remember after 6 months, I tried to make my first brand with organic, and I ended up wasting 2 months. And it was a very humbling experience. So, yeah, I'm gonna just give you guys the essence of all of this, okay? So, number one is gonna be the mindset. And I've seen a lot of guys come and go. The only difference between people who actually stayed and actually made it is people who meant what they said. You need to be the type of person who doesn't just rely on impulses. If you rely on impulses, one day you get motivated, you open up YouTube, you open up TikTok, and then you stop there. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about someone who has literally no understanding of what to actually do. I would just open TikTok made me buy it. I would just scroll and think that I'm doing something productive for a day, and then I get back to my usual routine for the next like week until I get this same impulse to repeat the same process. So I think it was up until I realized I need to be doing this on a daily basis. So the first thing we need to focus on is consistency, because you need to have a strong mind to actually put yourself to work on a daily basis, whether you like it or not, and whether you have time or not. Because the second thing is going to be energy. And energy is more important than time. I know people who have made it happen with a few hours a day. And then there's people who have 16 hours a day to make it work, but they can't do it. So energy is the main difference between people who make it and people who don't make it. So let's start off with mindset, just to give you more understanding and context with what I mean in terms of organic dropshipping. I want to make one thing clear. Right now, it's way easier to make it happen than 3 years and a half ago. But one of the main reasons why it was way harder is because it was way more humbling. You need to actually order something, wait for 10 to 20 days for it to arrive, and then you need to figure out how to first set up good lighting. If you don't have good lighting, you need to wait another 10 days to receive, or I don't know, a week to receive better lighting. And then obviously you're investing into this. And then you need to figure out your hand movements, all of the above, right? Just for you to get like 200 views. So that's why it was way more demanding to have a strong mind to actually make it work. Especially when people actually look at you trying to do this, you look ridiculous. Let's be real. Especially when you're running like pump and dump products, which look silly. We've all done it. And this is coming from me. Like I've tested tens. I'm not going to say hundreds. I think tens. So around 50 something products. But yeah, it's very humbling, but that's what builds a good mind. And honestly, it's a prerequisite, to be honest. You need to have a strong mind to ignore reality, do the work that you need to do, and just have delayed gratification. So you need to be, to an extent, delusional to make this happen. Now, here's the good news. Today is way easier. So instead of actually setting up the lights and actually filming the product, now there's a few products out there which still do require filming, and they're actually better to film for because that builds more trust. And that's one thing I want to, touch on in a minute, because trust is a big factor today with the surge of AI. But yeah, I would say today it's actually way easier for anyone to start. So if you're looking into starting, you don't know what to do, by the end of this, you're going to know what to do, okay? These lessons are worth years, literally. So mindset is what's going to actually make you put in the work regardless of how you feel. So whether you have a bad day, whether you had because the moment you start making sales, you're going to actually understand the importance of mindset even more. And this could be as low as making one sale versus 0 sales. So making one sale, let's say that was your first ever sale, you're going to have a surge of dopamine, and then next year you get 0 sales, you're going to feel crushed. That's just how the human psychology works, and you need to change that consciously to eventually change the subconscious side of your mind. So this applies and this amplifies more the moment you make 1K a day, 10K day. We recently made 10K day with our new brand. And it's very humbling. And obviously, if it wasn't for my previous winning products, I wouldn't have been able to deal with going from 10K day all the way to 1K day, for example, or even 0 day. So it's part of the game, and you need to actually know how to deal with this. So the few things which I could give you, especially if you have like some sort of success, remember what you did on your best days, and then on your bad days, redo the same things you did on your top days as if nothing happened. So don't even open your dashboard. And I think back in the days, I would open my dashboard way more often than today. Today, I would open my dashboard maybe at the end of the day, like before 12 a.m. Apart from that, I would not touch my Shopify. And I think that's an improvement compared to back in the days. I would literally just keep on refreshing my Shopify all day. And it does play with your mind because you're relying on impulses, and it's a very dangerous thing to do. So trust me, guys, when you put distance between you and impulses in general, you're gonna have a better time and better success. So instead of that, you should spend this waking hours on improving something in the system, whether it's the images, the branding, you know the whole branding on the IG, for example. This is something which nobody talks about. So the front end, just preparing better content and new content on a daily basis. By the day, social media is becoming more strict about not reposting your content. Recently, Facebook has made a new change where you get literally lower views if you were to repost or reuse old content. So the bottom line is you need to be on a daily basis creating new content, and even better is to recreate the viral content you had in the past. So whether it was your content or competitors, see what has worked, proven concept, do it better, and that way you have some sort of foundation to understand that this is not luck. If you were to create something out of your mind, sure, it might be good, but this is more advanced. I'm not gonna even promote it at all. Trying to reinvent the wheel is not good. Every time you need to base it off a proven concept. So you can be creative, but make sure it's following something that has worked in the past. And this is very crucial to mention. So proven concept, you're gonna hear this word in pretty much every aspect of today's video. So when it comes to the website, I'm not saying copy one-to-one, but you should have some sort of pillars, foundations that has proven to work for other big brands that you get some idea from, inspiration from, and then you recreate it, your style or to your branding. So this applies obviously to the store, to the website, to the product, and even the marketing, or even mostly the marketing. So yeah, mindset, hopefully it's clear by now. Act as if every day is your top day. Don't be influenced by obstacles, ignore them, and just focus on creating more. Run more ads, literally. Energy. Energy can be affected by multiple things, by your environment, by your own thoughts, could literally backstab you. Or if you are the type of person who scrolls on your phone every day, personally, I don't even have my personal IG. I literally have got rid of it long time ago, more than a year ago. So if I open IG on my phone, it's actually for the brand. But this is by far the best decision I've ever made because it literally eliminates the waste of time and waste of energy that you get subconsciously without even knowing when you actually scroll. You're going to know the latest news, the latest changes in the world, all that stuff, And this is something which does not even change 1% of what you are doing today. Like it won't matter to you. You cannot control it, and it has nothing to do with you. So better off literally staying in your own bubble. The only time you want to get out of your bubble is to learn about new trends, new products, new opportunities, new sounds, new formats, and so on. That's a creator mindset. So make sure if you do that already, make sure you cut it off. Don't, this is one thing which I took a while to understand. Your mind needs to be at peace, literally. This is your box. Only allow positive things into this box. If you are the type of person, and by the way, at one point I think I thought it was the right thing to know everything, to be curious about everything. But reality is, it's better off minding your own business, not seeing what the latest, trends are in terms of like the world and so on, the news. You're better off literally just focusing on yourself and on your project, your product. So this is what you need to protect at all costs, okay? Which is your mind, your peace of mind. So once again, it's all energy. And same thing applies to your environment. Try to find people online. It's easier than in real life because it's really rare to find someone who does e-com, especially organic dropshipping in real life. So we've made a Discord community, which was one part of why I made my YouTube, by the way, was to connect. I literally have found my first winner and I've, gotten off the ground before I even found a single person I could trust online. So it's really hard. Like I spent 60% of my journey on my own, failing until I found my first winner. So truly, it's one of the most important things is to find people who are like-minded, are doing the same thing, have the same passion, same goals, and create this competitive environment. So they're literally giving you energy. They're not taking away energy from you. One last thing is going to be the physical environment. So it's recommended to have a separate area than where you waste your time. So let's say you are a gamer and you usually game here, then you're better off getting your laptop or something and sitting elsewhere to just have a fresh mind when doing that new thing, because otherwise you're going to be tempted to waste time, and this is a problem. I think the hardest thing about making a change is to just sacrifice all the bad habits you had in the past, and I think this is what actually wasted most of my time. And this is actually one of the most important lessons, is to not add. So this is your daily routine. So things on your mind every day. If you want to do organic dropshipping or any other thing, then you cannot just add it to whatever you currently have on your list. You need to sacrifice some things, especially the things which are negative or not necessarily benefiting you. Remove them. Only then would you have space to add something new. And this is something which I'm pretty sure I wasted a year trying to force. Like I was trying to force having organic dropshipping on top of what I currently have. And unfortunately, it's going to be at the bottom of the list. When you add it, you're not going to be all in on it. So when you remove all these negative things, it's actually going to be at the top of your primary list or priority list. So this is a very important thing to mention, and you need to understand this. So whatever baggage you got right now, mental baggage, and then even physical habits you got, eliminate them. I want to mention something here. Prayer and just faith in general is very important. So this is another pillar which I had to add to my life. I think it's been more than 2 years by now. We're going strong, but yeah, it was one of the things which I had to literally replace with a bad habit. So I removed anything, or gaming, scrolling, anything that was not good for me, and I replaced it with good things like prayer. And by the way, prayer is good because, or just believing is good because it makes you more stress tolerant. And unless you're living under a rock, if you didn't know, but stress tolerance is the most important indicator to whether you're going to be successful or not. Regardless of what field you're in, if you don't have stress tolerance, you're going to collapse. And that's why I'm mentioning faith today. So add all the positive things, remove the negative things from your list, and that way you're going to have the 3 top pillars to the next list I'm going to mention. This is the most important thing. Now that I've mentioned these top lessons, now we can talk about dropshipping, the technical side of dropshipping. I mentioned that you don't need to film anymore unless your product demands it. So I would be very selective with who I consume from, because it's very demotivating when nothing is working your way and then you open up IG, TikTok, or YouTube and then you see everyone saying, they made 10K a day, 50K a month, 100K a month at 17 years old or 18 years old. It's definitely gonna make you feel demotivated. So the better route is to first of all cut out short form. Literally, don't watch short form because it won't give you any value. So short form education content. The reason I'm mentioning this now is because it's deceiving. It makes you think that you're learning, but I actually spent the first half year or 1 year of my journey thinking that I'm learning, but I wasn't. It was very different from what it actually took to make it work. So cut off all the education content that's in short form. Try to watch case studies, raw videos like this, and that's where you could, in your free time actually learn. This is just motivation or impulses. And as you may know, impulses are out. Instead, you should be using this time to watch the right short form, which is on your burn account. So one thing which I really emphasize on is ROI, so the burner method. Whenever you have free time, whether you are in your car waiting or at the mall, wherever you are, if you have like 10 minutes where you're free, just pull up your phone, scroll a bit on your burn account. Burn account is dedicated for dropshipping content. That way, you could be on top of the trends, products, and so on. So you never know. It's a compounding effect. You do this on a daily basis, eventually you're going to find a list of potential winners, pick one of them, find your winner. The ROI is insane. So this same philosophy or concept applies to everything in life. Everything you need to do on your daily basis must have an ROI, return on investment, to your goals. And by the way, this is as distant as it may seem as hitting the gym. So it's clear that it won't directly benefit your income, but it's actually going to help you to, once again, have higher stress tolerance, to make better decisions, to have a stronger mind, to actually put in the work, and just discipline. You're growing your mind to be more disciplined, because another root of it is eating healthier, right? If you want to hit the gym, you need to eat healthy. And that's another, you're sharpening your mind in another aspect as well, which is one of the most primal, senses, which is eating, or impulses, which is, hunger to eat. So trying to eliminate all the, the bad food to focus on what's good for you is going to also sharpen your mind in terms of discipline. So it's crazy. Things which has nothing to do with organic are in reality, very linked, because every single thing needs to sharpen your discipline to be able to put in the work. So in my opinion, burner method, or like the burner, I don't know what other word I can say for this, but spending this time to do market research, in my opinion, is very annoying because it's actually brain rot. You're going in the field and watching all this content to hopefully find something that's going to benefit you, especially if you have a winner. And this is one thing which I need to clarify. Even if you have a winner, you still need to do it because you need to be on top of the trends. So, yeah, this is something which has to become part of your daily inputs. So, even if it was like 5 to 10 minutes, just try to be on top of the trends, the audios, the formats. It's going to help you. So, yeah. This is one of the things you could do for ROI. Another thing is just opening CapCut and editing in your free time. If you're home, then you could open Hixfield, create some content, or if you have your laptop somewhere. Just make sure you do something which is going to benefit you positively, whether it was for your content, for your brand, your product, or even for your health. They're all linked, okay? So this is number 4, ROI. Number 5. Since I mentioned, or I promised that I want to be more technical about things, your website is really important. This is a deception when I started, is that your website just needs to be good enough to be able to convert, to make someone add to cart and buy. But I think I mentioned this in another video recently, is that at the end of the day, you're selling the same product which 10 or 100 people, for example, are selling. We all have the same supplier. So what's gonna set you apart from all of these sellers is your branding, your store, your marketing. So this is you. The reason you're gonna be, selling more than others, although you have the same product, is because you have a better branding. And in my opinion, the best way to be creative and to, show this branding is through your store. This is your canvas. So this is something which you need to focus on. In terms of themes, you could use Shrine, you could use Claude. I've tried both, and they're both really good. So branding is what's going to set you apart. That's why you need to emphasize the importance of really good product images, good hero image, landing image, and so on. With the help of AI, of course. So this is, I can try to give you more info in this video because I intend to make it very informative. For the images, you could use GPT Image 2 or Nano Banana 2 Pro 2. But yeah, never do this on your own. Once again, take it through proven concepts. So proven concept. So make a list of 5 to 10 winning stores, take one puzzle piece from every store, get inspiration from them, and then, assemble them to create your ultimate canvas. Next point is going to be marketing. And I want to talk about specific elements of marketing. I want to start off with reach because this is something which is very controversial. When it comes to Meta, and Meta is by far the most important one for getting sales because you actually build an asset which you could use to communicate with people, and it has just way better algorithm in my experience. Like 100k followers will matter way more on IG than any other platform. So it really matters to grow it the right way, and having good reach is gonna make or break your account. It doesn't really matter where you live, but there's some element to it. So obviously it would help if you're in the US, for example, but I can tell you for a fact, I have affiliates in the US and they don't have a better reach than myself. So I'm gonna just say it's not as important as people claim it to be. Instead, there's other elements or other factors that really matters, such as post timing. And I'm gonna put it at the top of the list because it's actually the most important one. Next one is going to be the whole format idea. So for example, 3-2-1 and so on. There's a lot of formats which are catered to get you better reach, and then others which are just for controversy, which are not good. Next one is going to be audio. Obviously, audio is as important as format. Just want to make that clear. Then text. And then just like the whole, whatever is remaining, like the quality of the content. But the format is really just what the content is about. So this is going to be really important. So these are some really important factors which will determine your reach. And then obviously I'm going to put this at the bottom because it's actually important, but some accounts just perform better than others, unfortunately. So we had an affiliate in the US who has like 80% wrong audience. It's just a bad sign of their account. We had to dump it. So it's just part of the game. So there you go. In terms of reach, these are what matters the most. If you want, we can also mention the niche. Some niches just perform better than others, and so on. So that's regarding the first section of marketing. Next is going to be regarding views. Usually people start, like they run a product and their primary goal is just to go viral without actually caring how they go viral with the product. So you need to keep in mind that quality is over, better than quantity in terms of views. So getting 1 million views with the right reason is going to be better or equivalent to over 100 million views with the wrong video. And the only difference between these two is that this one had a lot of controversy, and that was the main reason it went viral. And then this one had a very clear CTA. So this is the main difference. So the fact that I mentioned this should change up your perspective on picking formats and picking ideas to market your product. You need to have, or you need to constructively use controversy under moderation to create this engagement for going viral without ruining the main focus of the video, which is a product. So in my opinion, you should have like one, or a very short amount of the video, which is about controversy, and then a good solid amount of time of CTA to compensate this controversy. Otherwise, if your video is like 50% controversy with like minimal CTA, it's most likely not going to convert as much. So you need to be very careful with how you construct your videos. Another thing is testing many formats. Some formats, they naturally convert better than others. You could be getting 10K views on a format and converting better from this video than another video with 50K views. It's just how marketing works. Some content performs better than others, primarily because this is more focused on the product. So never be deceived by views. Something that has millions of views, hundreds of thousands of likes, doesn't mean it's going to convert better or it's a winning product. That's a deception and a time waster. So this might raise the question, what then should be my indicator to whether a video is a winning format or whether a product is a winning product? I would say you need to go through the criteria, which I've made. I'll try to mention it here. I've made a lot of videos about the products, but I'll give some quick lessons. Let's see. Firstly, the product needs to have some sort of value, emotion to a certain passionate niche. So we've seen a lot of products like the resin lamp recently, which is made for certain target audiences, Lord of the Rings, and so on. These products are already, they look like they are worth the money. This honestly looks like $100 product, but people are selling it for as low as $70, and then it goes up to like $200, depending on the size. So it's definitely worth the money for a customer who has never seen this product before. Now, obviously, what's going to determine whether it's good or worth the money is the marketing. So the marketing needs to do a good job making the product look like it's worth the money. And if you're focusing primarily on controversy, you're leaving barely any room to show the quality of the product. That's why we've seen a lot of handcrafting videos for the resin lamp. It's pretty much 100% CTA. Like from the start to the finish, it's just showing or trying to justify why this product is worth the money. It's handcrafted and so on. Now, personally, I've never run this product, but I'm telling you based off what I've seen, and it's a winner 100%. Another factor where you could tell why a product is a winner is because there's so many different variants. This is just one example of a product which has upgraded or has performed so well to the point where the manufacturers started making hundreds of different variants. Now there's literally tens, eventually it's going to be hundreds of variants of this product. I've seen at least like 20 different variants, and for a good reason. It's a good product. So the difference between every variant of these is every one of them targets a different angle or a different passionate niche. So this could be Lord of the Rings. Next one is about Toothless. Next one is Avatar. Next one is, I don't know, could be football and so on. So angles are really important. So whenever you find a saturated product, think about how can I change the angle of marketing or the angle of the product by itself. So different variant. And the next one was the value. Keep these in mind. I should probably continue talking about marketing because this is really important. So let's talk about AI with marketing. I don't want you guys to be influenced to think that the only way to market with AI is to do it the unethical way. I've been saying this since the start of 2026. Back then, unfortunately, there was literally only one way to market with AI, which is to do the unethical way of showing the handcrafting process while saying a storyline of how I'm not gonna sit here and explain how it is. It was just black hat marketing. So instead of that, I've been saying that you could literally go and look at all the winning formats from the past and recreate them one to one with AI. So for the first few months of 2026, we've only been seeing the handcrafting format done with AI. All of these other routes were still untapped. By the time I'm making this video, a lot of them have been tested, but still only there's like the tip of the iceberg, TBH. There's a lot of room for discovering new formats or recreating winning formats. We're not reinventing here. We're looking at proven concept formats, making them better with AI. Beauty of this is that some products, maybe 2 years ago, you could have never run. You didn't have a certain person or a certain thing, certain environment to be able to market this product. Nowadays, you could do it easily with AI. So that's actually how we made our 10K day, by recreating way better of a proven concept. So something was working in the past, we did it way better with AI. Ethically, we didn't do this, and it paid off. So find these formats, do them better with AI. And if you're wondering what tools to use, we use Higgsfield, and then you could use Kling, Seedance, and let's see. I think these are the primary ones, Kling and Seedance. I know there's Higgsfield Soul as well, which is good for avatars, but we have not tried it yet. Number 8. Let's see. I kind of want to talk about controversial beliefs in organic dropshipping. So things which a lot of people think are necessary. Okay. The tools. What are the tools that you need to actually get into organic? The problem is, every single time I've seen a beginner or someone just, inquiring about organic, the first things they believe that they need is all these third-party tools to get information about how many sales the competitors are making, or to link their store to their supplier, like fulfillment apps and all these unnecessary apps. So I'm not gonna give names here, but there's a lot of these apps which they market themselves as if you need them to even get into organic. The truth is, all these fulfillment apps, spying apps, and whatever other apps, they're just additional baggage. They're additional expenses that you're adding. As a beginner, trust me, you don't need this. It might take you months before you even get your first sale. And by the way, I don't know how it is, but I've always believed that it's controlled algorithm on these apps that helps you to find winning products. So it's better to be out there in the field on your burn account looking for raw content going viral at the time. It's way more authentic, and yeah, that way you could literally be on top of the market. So these algorithms might show you the product later. You never know. So yeah, it's just unnecessary expenses which are going to slow you down and do barely any benefit. If you're wondering about fulfillments, you could do through Alibaba, AliExpress for free. You just fulfill from there, and you actually have direct contact with the suppliers. So it's way better. Let's talk about mentorships. We're not selling any mentorships, so don't worry. After some reflection, I think the main reason why I did not join any mentorships was primarily because it felt like there was so much distance between you and the guy selling the course. So there was not one-to-one calls. That's the number one reason why I did not. And number two is because of the fact they're promoting pump and dump. And oftentimes they don't care about ethics, so they're just selling you to get you results, which is part of their promise. But I do care about building a long term brand, so I knew that early on, hence why I did not join any. And although I don't currently, mentor or anything, the only mentorship I do provide is through my team. So we do it for free, affiliate team, and that's the next thing which I did actually. So when I didn't join any mentorships, I did join an affiliate program with someone which I actually respected. I've been offered a lot in the past, but I denied all of them, except for one time where I did actually reach out to a friend of mine. I was an affiliate for 3 months, and I do advise it to everyone. That's why I made my own affiliate program, because I do want to teach others one to one. And I'm not gonna lie, I'm way more transparent than anyone I've ever seen. So my team are literally my friends, and I try to give them as much. Like I'm as transparent as I can with them. The best part is we're working on the same product. So unlike any other affiliate program, usually if you were to join one, you would be like provided a product, and then you're just given guidance on how to run it properly so that you can apply the same knowledge to your own products. But for our team, we're actually working on the same product. You get to see my content, my pages, and then you could follow the proven concepts from us directly. So it's way more transparent and more like a team. All right, so regarding paid communities, I did join one when I first started. It was primarily for two reasons. It did provide order fulfillment, but later I realized they're really slow. Literally, AliExpress and Alibaba are way faster, and they have better prices. And then the second reason was to connect with like-minded people. But oftentimes people are trying to take your product, so it's really hard to find, trustworthy people in general, unless you join one which is made for that. Hence why we made this channel. I'm building a community which is for free, and it's still in the making. We have like over 700 people in it, but one day it's gonna be big enough, and it's gonna be, sticking to its roots as a free community, which is made for winning together. Okay, so this is what I feel like there's a lack in, unfortunately. So try to find these free communities, and if you're interested, join the one in my Discord. For the suppliers and for fulfillment in general, all you need is Alibaba and AliExpress. When you join these tours, guys, just like I made here, you're literally being in so much distance with the main source. There's so many middlemen in between, and they're all taking a cut. So, for example, here it costs $1. By the time it reaches you, it's going to be $10. So, it's just how it is. And for that reason, I much rather contact the main sources, the factories on Alibaba, or the main suppliers on AliExpress and so on, to get better prices, better variants, better packaging, and so on, even better shipping. So yeah, forget the tools, forget the fulfillment apps or communities. You don't need any of that. So yeah, that's pretty much it for these pillars. The final thing I'm gonna talk about is gonna be regarding the whole branding game. So early on to 2026, before it was like a bit earlier than the moment where everyone started doing AI marketing, was people were running these products which were just regular pump and dump products, but they're marketing it, and their store is made in a way which looks like a brand. And that's what we call organic branded dropshipping. So I'm going to give this example today because it's a really important final point I would like to give, which is going to open up your perspective on what branding is. So branding doesn't mean you need to put capital up front. You could be running pump and dump products, but the best way to actually sell these pump and dump products is to stand out. So you have a bunch of sellers. This is you selling the product as a brand. So there's this example I gave here for the Disney niche. At the start, people were running the heels for different characters in Disney. It was a big winner, multiple six figures. Later on, because it was a winner, they started looking for new variants. So they started going to the fashion niche, so accessories. So they went for the necklaces, for the bracelets, and ultimately, people who knew, they made a general store for this niche. So he would literally have a branded store where he has all the different variants, all the different products, and even the marketing was focusing on the perceived value of the product, and obviously the emotion with it, the passionate niche, how it's like linked to every avatar and so on. So this is just an example of what it means to brand a product, is to just start with a store, because that's the best way to start. It's your canvas. Make sure everything is on brand, very high perceived value, images, and copy, something which nobody talks about in the organic space. And then the marketing. Marketing needs to be on point. Now, by the time I saw this, and I've actually shown this before, it was done through filming, and their filming was 10 out of 10. But obviously nowadays, you could do this with AI. So yeah, just wanted to give you this final note about branding, is that it doesn't need to be something crazy. It could be as simple as bracelets and necklaces for the women niche, and it could sell like crazy through branding. So this is the final note for today. Hopefully this was eye-opening to you guys. If so, let me know in the comment, subscribe, join my Discord. We're gonna bring back the Sunday calls and so on. So that's one. And two is the affiliate program. If you guys are interested in joining the team, let me know on Discord as well. And that's pretty much it. Thank you guys for watching. I'll see you next one.